What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today we're going to take you around this all-new Maserati Grecale Trofeo. As always, these names just have to be pronounced in the Italian way, otherwise you end up with something like Grecale or Trofeo. I don't know, Trofeo is okay, Grecale is just weird. So Grecale is what we are going to stick with. Grecale means puma in Italian, if you didn't know. No, it doesn't. It just looks like a Ford Puma from the front. I mean, come on. It has that same surprised frog face at the front with those headlights and the overall shape. Very similar to a Ford Puma. Maserati are not going to thank me for saying that, but it's just the case. It was the first thing I thought when I looked at it, but luckily this car has a lot more to offer than just that. So the front, of course, the massive Maserati grille with the Trident logo in there, carbon fiber down here, big air intakes. Of course, it looks much more aggressive than a Ford Puma, but I can't unsee it. Those front lights and the overall shape just scream Puma at me. But let's move on quickly to the wheels, because we've got this gorgeous Maserati wheel, 21 inch. Yeah, 21 inch. And that is quite a big wheel. That is partly why those brake discs look so tiny, but they are not really that big. It's quite a powerful car, quite a high top speed, quite a heavy car. You would expect that they would put some carbon ceramic brakes on this, but they haven't. So these are regular steel perforated discs. Not great. Brake pedal feel a bit mushy, very long pedal, and well, I think if you start pushing it, they will heat up quite quickly. But at least they look good because we have some red calipers there. Of course, the Trofeo badge and the 3 little side vents in plastic. Then we've got black window surrounds, these beautiful flush door handles. That is quite nice, actually. It looks beautiful with a little bit of chrome there. Carbon fiber side skirt. And then the rear, this is a mid-size SUV. So it's like an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, BMW X3, Porsche Macan, those cars. That is what it's supposed to compete with. And I have to say, from the rear and especially the side profile, it is quite a handsome car. I think it works better than the Levante, the bigger SUV from Maserati. I think this is actually quite a successful design. We even have the slightest hint of a boomerang rear light, right, from the old 3200 GT. Yeah, I quite like the rear. I really like the side profile. We've got a carbon fiber diffuser here with sort of a Brabus shaped exhaust tip, which sounds really good. And then quite a large boot as well. Very practical car. It is actually on the Giorgio platform, which means that it is basically the Alfa Romeo Stelvio platform, but it has been enlarged. So it's a bit longer than a Stelvio, bigger wheelbase, more space for people in the rear. As you can see, this is behind me. That is actually quite all right for a car of this size. Beautiful leather as well. And I always like to look at the doors because you can see all the interior stuff. So we've got these Sonus Faber speakers, leather in black, bare carbon fiber, red leather, everything is super soft. And then you have these buttons to open the door. Yeah, very nice quality wise. All the leather feels amazing, and it does look like a Maserati. Beautiful badge on the side there. Let's take a look at the engine. So, that is very far back, as you can see, well behind the front wheels. This is the Nettuno engine. So this is the 3-liter V6 you would also find in the Maserati MC20, their new supercar. In that car it has over 620 horsepower. This is a slightly down-tuned version of that with different turbochargers. It does have the same carbon fiber prop shaft and the MTC Maserati twin combustion, and it is a very aggressive engine. It reminds me of the V6 in the Stelvio Q and the Giulia Q, but it is a bit more powerful, 530 horsepower and 620 newton meters of torque. So it is actually very similar to that MC20 engine. The MC20 though has a dry sump system and this has a wet sump, but it is a very nice engine. I do quite like it. It feels quite raw, and when you're on it, it feels quite powerful as well, which is nice. It's a good engine, and it's going to have to last a long time usually with Maserati, so I'm glad that they finally broke free from Ferrari basically and made their own engine, and it actually really works in this car. Now, you also have a GT version and a Modena version. The Trofeo, of course, being the top of the line model with the most powerful engine. The GT has 300 horsepower. The Modena has 330, both from a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. And the GT has an open diff, optionally limited slip diff. Modena has a limited slip diff as standard, and the Trofeo as well. An electronically controlled mechanical limited slip diff, if I'm not mistaken, which is quite nice. So interior wise, we covered a little bit in the rear already, but up front as well, actually very nice. So we've got a lot of, well, almost exclusively, we've got beautiful leather. We've got this bare carbon, which opens, very nice. Cup holders, super soft, beautiful seats, beautiful door stitching. That is classic Maserati, that sort of stripy pattern. Nice speakers as well, and a little steering wheel with a couple of buttons on there. Everything feels pretty good actually. Volume, I was going to say volume button, but they didn't make one. They have like this swipey thing, which is horrible, but these buttons, twisty, feel good. We've got a nice little clock there, which is digital, so you can switch to sport or design, but classic is just beautiful. You can also have a compass, your pedal input, or a G meter. I like the classic clock, so so they give you all these options, but you end up with what they used to have. Well, at least I do, because I think this fits a Maserati really well. So we've got a dual touchscreen setup. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of this, as you know. I have to say, this looks and feels pretty good. The infotainment is clear, it's simple. You always have your climate and your volume and stuff. You always have that here. You don't have to go into any menu to get that on this screen. It's always there basically, which is good. Although I do feel the need to wipe it down all the time, because you always have like fingerprints. But honestly, this system, not bad. It looks really good. It feels a bit like a Porsche meets iDrive BMW system, but it just works. It really does. So I quite like that. We even have some drag race performance there, off-road, oil temp. So yeah, I really like this. It works very well, which I was not expecting. And that goes for the entire interior. It looks really beautiful, and almost everything feels really good as well. It feels solid, well built. Yeah, I quite like it. We've got the column mounted pedals here. Very nice as well. Nothing to complain really here. It's quite spacious as well. As I said, we've got a nice roof here. The only thing I could do with is the seating position could be a bit lower for me. But other than that, this is super nice. Just this little thing that doesn't line up, that kind of drives me nuts. But yeah, you can see it there as well. That's basically the only thing I found that I don't really like finishing wise. So good job, Maserati. Let's take it for a drive. So let's start it up. Sounds like a diesel, but that will disappear when you get on it. So the driving modes, we're going to hit Corsa, of course, and then we've got a little suspension button, S and H. We'll go for hard, although it is a bit bouncy for my liking. Drive. for the ZF 8-speed, which, as we know, in the Stellantis group, they have the best configuration for this gearbox. It is absolutely brutal. Yeah. The shifts of this automatic are unparalleled. It is the best automatic shift there is. It's so quick and it gives you this beautiful little kick in the back, and it is joined by a nice little fart from the exhaust. It just works, it really does. Downshift a bit slow to respond actually, but upshifts are lightning quick and super nice and firm. Oh, it sends this jolt through the car, and it just makes you feel like you're driving a cool car instantly. It just helps with that sporty feel. Even though it's an SUV, I mean, we know that the car this is loosely based on, the Alfa Stelvio Q. If you ask me, the best handling SUV out there. This basically takes that to another level. Not sporty wise, but just car wise. It feels more solid. It sounds good. Okay, so let's do a launch control. According to Maserati, it will do 3.8 seconds. And we can use launch control by hitting the plus pedal. And then another one. Brake 100%, full throttle. Release it in time, otherwise it starts rolling. It's a bit wet, I have to say. That is 3.9. That's not bad. We've been able to do 3.8 on the screen here. Unfortunately, Maserati does not allow us to do any measurements with Draghi. It is the only brand that outright says that we can't do any measurements, which is quite weird to me. But according to their own system, it is 3.9, which it's not. Usually these onboard systems are not that accurate. But hey, we've got some numbers to show you guys. Now, handling wise, we'll go back to manual. As I said, that suspension, it is air suspension, active damping. It is quite firm. It is a bit bouncy, but it does offer a lot of feedback because of that. It just tells you what the road is doing below you. And it just means that even though the turn-in, the steering feel, it's quite vague, but because the car is so stiff in its setup, you still feel like you can throw it into a corner and come out the other way like you were expecting. Yeah, that is pretty damn good. I have to say though, this car really comes alive on a road like this. We were driving here and we were, you know, slightly underwhelmed, to be honest. And then we started, you know, twisting some buttons and having some fun. And the car just changed. It feels like this is its purpose. It feels like it's been built to have fun, to attack a nice little B road, to shift yourself in manual mode, to have the suspension in the lower setting. Because when you have it in comfort, everything, it just feels a bit weird. So on we go to the Autobahn. Oh, it does feel very aggressive. I really like that. The tires though, we've got Pirellis. They hold on for quite a while, but once they go, they start sounding like a dog that has to go to the vet. Autobahn, top speed should be 285, and we actually know that GPS speed and speedo speed are two different things. So we did 292 on the speedo earlier, which is like 275 kilometers an hour. So we should be able to hit 300 on the speedo if we get the space, but we do need quite a bit of that. And I'm not sure that traffic is going to be this compliant. So a couple of things this car is really good at. I haven't heard it from the outside, but Martijn told me that it sounds really good. Which is a good thing, because not many of these cars sound like anything anymore, and this seems to still pack a punch in the exhaust department, which is very nice. Brakes, as I said, not great, a bit spongy. Pedal is very long, and I feel like I will absolutely demolish them if I have to brake from like 280, and that lack of thrust is just not great. High speed stability, very impressive with this car. We just went to Aero 2, so that is the lowest air suspension setting, and I have to say, for me this car has really impressed in that department. I was not expecting it to be better than the Stelvio. It's not as sharp and direct as the Stelvio, but that also has to do with the air suspension. The Stelvio just has regular coilovers. But this is super impressive. Okay, so are we going to get space? It is fighting the air. No, the truck is overtaking, and that is 294, and I'm going to brake. Yeah, that's not great. Brakes? No, really not great. I can already feel the pedal getting even longer, and it's already like stepping in a bucket of pea soup. Not great. Other than that, I mean, dynamically speaking, it's really impressive. It's super comfortable in comfort mode, so we can also stay in Corsa and then just hit that button. So this is hard, this is soft. Okay, let's check out the soft setting, because we've got a couple of bumps coming up. Here we go, full throttle. Yeah, you can definitely feel the car squatting when I hit the throttle, so this is much softer. Let's find out what that feels like at high speed. Oh, I like this much better. So, wind noise at high speed, also an issue of course with the Stelvio. Ooh, that is silky smooth. The Stelvio just feels like it's going to fall apart at like 240. This one is much better. And it hits these speeds quite easily. That's 294 again. Woo! Little wobbly. Come on! 294! It's not going any faster! 294! No. That's it. But that is impressive, honestly. It really is. Build quality feels a lot better than with the Stelvio. Interior quality, the leather, everything is super nice. I do have to say, you know, the elephant in the room is the Porsche Macan, which is just almost unbeatable at every level. But this does have a little bit more of a sense of humor. It's a bit more charming than a Porsche Macan. The Porsche Macan is very surgical, you know. It takes a number of categories, and its goal is to be the best in every category. This feels a bit more plush, a bit more luscious, a bit more like it wants to entertain you, which I quite like. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest crossover SUV fan, although I do feel like it's a really good size for a family and it's very practical. But I wasn't expecting a lot from this car, and it really surprised me. It really did. It's actually pretty damn good. Now, I do have to say that this goes for this particular version, the Trofeo with the Nettuno V6. I have read a lot of other reviews that say that the 4-cylinder cars are not as impressive. They are going to come with an electric version, the Folgore or something like that, which does not have the 800 volt system of the MC20 and the Gran Turismo electric versions that are coming. but it has a regular 400 volt system. So yeah, I'm curious to see about that. Now, as I said, we're not allowed to share our measurements with you guys, which is a shame, but I can tell you that it is faster than an Alfa Romeo Stelvio Q from 100 to 200 kilometers an hour, which is very impressive, and way quicker than a Porsche Macan Turbo. So even more reason why we should be able to publish our measurements. But anyway, it is what it is. Quite impressed with this little Trofeo. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. Please do so, it really supports us. You can also check out this video on the right or this playlist on the left. See you at the next one. Bye.